Thinking about buying a franchise? Then the How to Buy a Franchise show is just for you. Here's your host, Dr. John Hayes.
So a master franchisee has to be aware, I'm going to need, let's say, $150,000 to open one unit, and I'm going to need another $150,000 for the licensing rights to the business. So there's $300,000 there. I haven't started yet with employees and infrastructure and location,
right,
whether I need equipment or automobiles or whatever it might be. So I might need another $150,000. So this might be a $500,000 minimum type of investment.
Yep.
In order to become a master franchisee.
Yeah, well, that's why we say the master license opportunity is fantastic, but not for everybody. For the right people, it's fantastic. But financial aspects of this is a key component, nonetheless, absolutely.
Do people get financing for master franchise opportunities, or are they taking that $500,000 or $1 million out of their pocket?
Well, two ways. I said some of it is cash over the years, but more times than not these days, they're taking out some kind of a loan or an investment from their side. And quite frankly, from our side, being a privately held company, we can offer some kind of flexibility payment programs as well, especially on the repayment of the master fee. So if it's the right situation, we'll work with the individual on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah, so again, it comes back to the right situation, meaning are you the right fit to be a master franchisee? So you've got to spend a lot of your time psychologically thinking about this person or this group. It's usually not a person. It might be a group of people what are their dynamics? How well do they work together? How well are they qualified for this opportunity? And the dynamics then of how they're going to be a fit with United Franchise Group, whether or not you want them as a master.
You used the term earlier, seats on the bus or people on the bus, and you're precisely right. It's a little bit more challenging when they have multiple people on their team. Exactly who are these individuals? What role will they play in the business? So we can put the right people in the right seats on that bus. Yeah. You said it a moment ago. So spending that time in the, I'd say in the courtship stage, learning stage, research stage could take months, months and months before we ever advance it.
Sure.
If we ever do it all.
Out of 10 master franchise prospects, or maybe 100 franchise prospects would be a better way to approach this. Go with whichever number you want. I want to know, how many of them are you going to reject? That you're going to say, this just wasn't, you had the money, but this just wasn't a fit.
Gosh, I don't do much in the U.S. anymore. I would say from the master side, I would probably say we'll probably maybe 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, John, if I had to use any kind of metrics.
Who will be a good fit?
Who would be a good fit,
So you're saying no to 80% at least?
I would say so on the master side for sure. And again, it's not that they're bad people at all. It just doesn't fit what we're looking for in our relationship.
They may need to find another franchisor if franchising is right for them.
Exactly, exactly right.
So with all, you're in more than 70 countries already. At what point do you say, well, there aren't any countries left? There are a lot more countries out there, but not necessarily good countries for franchising. At what point do you say, well, we're not going to go, or you want to go into 150 countries?
Well, you know what? With our CEO Ray Titus, you mentioned a moment ago, he's a real pioneer. So we're very proactive globally. I haven't run into that situation yet, John. And the other is we keep adding brands to our portfolio. So it brings me back to the same countries over and over again to introduce a new brand.
Right.
So I haven't run into that just yet.
Do you have master franchisees who own multiple brands? They started with Signarama and then they said, look, we need to add Embroid Me or we want Transworld.
We do. I mentioned New Zealand a moment ago. A gentleman there has started out with Signarama 18 years ago, and now he's got Embroid Me going as well. So he's got 2 brands. And up in Canada, we have multiple brand owners up there. So we don't necessarily encourage that. But if it does happen, I guess, to a fit, and they're doing well with the first brand, we'll go with that program because we already know them. Yeah. So they've got a track record with us.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's a lot of work, international development, but you've made it your career. I've seen you in many, many countries as I've been a speaker or I've been traveling around attending expos and conferences. You don't seem to tire out from it. You look as young today as you did 15 years ago.
I don't know if they could see us or not, but we've got a little weathering going on. At least I do. But it's been 28 years, personally myself, traveling the globe and running into yourself in many areas. I still have fun. The reason I'm doing this, I have fun. I love to meet new people in different countries. I just came back from South Africa last week, off to Kenya, Nairobi in 2 weeks. So, yeah, it's a big world out there, a lot of challenging, and franchising is, in my opinion, the number one business model in the world. So there's a lot of excitement.
In spite of the turmoil that's going on in the world, how has this, if it has at all, impeded your franchise development?
You know what, and maybe we're a little kind of a crazy company, but yes, there's challenges, yes, there's hurdles. We all read about it and hear about it in the newspapers, on the news. But quite frankly, a lot of it's overblown. I think we listen too much and pull our horns in too much and don't step outside our comfort zone. With us, we feel that you have to do that and not let things stop you. Don't take undue risk, of course, but there's a lot of great markets out there that your brands are waiting for. So don't be shy.
And which countries are the most exciting today for franchise development? Maybe places that you haven't franchised before, or places that maybe we wouldn't think that franchising would exist there.
There's certainly places in Europe that are emerging and coming back now, but I'm really focused on Africa lately. As I mentioned, Kenya, I'm going to a moment ago. I just came back from South Africa. We were in Zambia, of course, North Africa. We've got franchises. So the African continent, to me, is really rising rapidly. So I'm spending personally a lot of time over there. India's on fire right now. It's really booming. And
there's not much there in franchising.
No, and the middle class has risen dramatically there. So now we're focusing on India. I'll be doing that in the last quarter of this year, going more and more to India. So India, Africa, and Pan-Asia areas got a lot of opportunities. So all over.
Thank you for listening to How to Buy a Franchise Show. If you want immediate assistance, visit howtobuyafranchise.com to contact Dr. John Hayes for a free consultation.